Have you ever been staring at a door knowing you have to go inside and interact with people in a social situation? Does that make you nervous? Not sure why you're anxious about it? I'll explain to you why you're anxious and how to overcome it. Overcoming interaction anxiety. We're going to teach you how to bridge the gap between fear and freedom. So, what is interaction anxiety? Interaction anxiety is the emotional gap between what's familiar to you to safe situations that you feel okay in, you feel safe, you feel secure, and unfamiliar situations, unknown situations where you don't feel safe, you don't feel at peace about them. Normally, that gap is what separates your comfort zone from needed experiences for growth. Now, when we talk about fear, we first have to talk about faith. Faith is something that requires you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. Faith also causes measurable physiological changes in your body, and faith has a profound impact in the outcome of a situation. Now, how does that relate to fear? Well, fear also requires you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. It also has measurable physiological changes in the body, and it has a profound impact on the outcome of a situation. Both faith and fear are exactly the same. It's just that one of them has a profound positive impact on the outcome, and fear has a profound negative impact on the situation. So whether you decide to have faith in yourself or to have fear in the outcome of a situation, it's going to impact how it comes out. But both of them require you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. Now, when I talk about faith, I want you to know I'm not pushing any type of religion. We're not talking about that. That's outside the scope of this course. When I'm talking about faith, I'm talking about faith from a perspective of a significant, powerful belief in a particular outcome. So when you say, I have faith that this will happen, or I have fear that this will happen, we're not talking religion. We're talking about how you've decided ahead of time a situation is going to play out, which in the end, that's all faith is, and that's all fear is. So when you look at the slide that's up on the screen right there, you'll see on the left-hand side that it's on one side of what we call the terror barrier. It's mostly harmless, it's safe, it's secure, it's comfortable. We're basically asleep, we're on autopilot, everything's okay. But everything is familiar. There's nothing new happening there. On the right-hand side, you've got your goals, you've got your dreams, you have what you're chasing after, what you hope to accomplish. You have growth, you have accomplishments over there. But in order to get to that side, you have to pass over the terror barrier. Now, I'm going to shoot straight with everybody here. The actual words terror barrier, I got those from Bob Proctor. That's how he describes it. Bob Proctor talks about the concept of the terror barrier, and I think he says he got it from Joseph Murphy. Tony Robbins got it from Jim Rohn. I think all of them eventually got it from Earl Nightingale. Hundreds and thousands of years ago, Marcus Aurelius talked about it in his writings. Before that, Jesus Christ talked about it. So the idea of utilizing faith to overcome fear is not a new thing. It's not unique to me. It's not unique to anybody. But it is something that everyone agrees has to happen, overcoming fear in order to get past the barrier that keeps you from experiencing things that you need to experience for your growth and your success. Now, when we talk about fear, in the developed world, what are the top fears of adults? Number one is public speaking. Number two is a fear of heights. Number three is a fear of bugs. Death doesn't even make the cut. It's not even in the top 10. And so for some reason in the developed world, Jerry Seinfeld said it best when he said that if an adult in America goes to a funeral, they think it's better to be in the casket than to be delivering the eulogy. I don't know about you, but that seems very, very strange to me. But it's true. The top 10 fears include things like clowns and zombies. It doesn't even come into the top 10 that people are afraid of dying. All they know is that they don't want to have to speak in public. That's a problem. Now, if we're going to talk about what people are afraid of and why, when they approach a situation, what I've come up with is what I call the Prequalification Triad. You approach a scenario that you've decided is fearful. Remember, you decided that. ahead of time without any evidence of how the situation turns out. You believe the situation is going to turn out bad. That's why you're afraid. So when you approach that situation that you've decided is fearful, think in your head, okay, when I go into this situation, is someone going to kill me dead or are they going to eat me alive? If the answer is yes, you have my permission to run out of that scenario. You don't have to participate in it if you reasonably believe somebody's going to kill you dead or eat you alive on the other side of that terror barrier. But if they're not, go on to the second question. Has anyone ever succeeded in this scenario? If one single person ever is documented as having succeeded in this scenario, then you can too. And number three, is it physically possible to succeed in this scenario? Because everyone, everywhere, failed at this scenario. That doesn't mean that you're going to fail as well. Somebody had to be the first person to do everything that's ever been done. So even if nobody's ever succeeded, why can't you be the first? So is it physically possible? Elon Musk says that the laws of physics are the laws. Everything else is a suggestion. So if we can physically succeed, if it's possible, then we still have the opportunity to go forward and do it. Most of us suffer from something that I'm calling goal intimidation. Now, when we talk about goals, there are three types of goals. I'm going to go with Bob Proctor's labeling of these goals because he said it great. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. A-type goals, B-type, and C-type. The A-type goals are goals you already know how to do. I want a cup of coffee. I know where the coffee maker is. I know where the coffee grounds are. I know how to make coffee. I set a goal. I go make the coffee. That's not really a goal. It's just a thing. It's just a task at that point. Now, a B-type goal is a goal that you believe you know how to do as long as certain variables work out. I want a particular car. I know that I know how to get that car as long as I'm approved for the credit, as long as I can make the payments, as long as the dealership has one, as long as CarMax can get one delivered. As long as a couple of things fall into place, I know that I already know how to get that goal. That's a B-type goal. A C-type goal is a goal that you have no idea how you can accomplish it. A C-type goal is something like, I want to generate $1 million in revenue for my business before the end of this calendar year. I have no clue how to do that right now. I haven't the foggiest idea how I'm going to accomplish that. But you can set that goal. Make that decision that you're going to have that end result. And even though you don't know how you're going to do it and you're terrified, go back to your pre-qualification triad and say to yourself, okay, if I set the goal to generate $1 million in revenue this year, is anyone going to kill me dead or eat me alive? No. No one's going to kill me dead. No one's going to eat me alive. Okay. Has anyone ever succeeded in generating $1 million in revenue? Yes. I know for sure that they have. Some people have done it in a single day. Okay. So is it physically possible? Yeah, we know it is because some people have done it in a single day. So we know it's possible. We know it's been done before, and we know nobody's going to kill me or eat me if I go out there and set that goal and try to do it. So we don't have to suffer from goal intimidation because we've passed the pre-qualification triad. There's nothing to really be afraid of. What we have is an opportunity to apply faith, because faith also is a belief in an outcome that hasn't happened yet. The thing about C-type goals that makes them intimidating is the fact that they demand growth. You, as you are now, cannot achieve a C-type goal. You, as you are now, can set a C-type goal, and then you have to become the person who can accomplish that goal. It'll cause discomfort and it requires massive action on your part. But only C-type goals lead to monumental accomplishments. So remember the pre-qualification triad. Once you've passed that, you know this is not a fearful scenario. It's an opportunity to apply faith and massive action so that I can get monumental accomplishment out of it. Now, how does this apply to, say, a sales scenario? How does this apply to an interaction scenario? If you have to make a cold contact, you've got to walk into a business or you have to knock on someone's door in order to make a cold, brand new contact, a brand new interaction, that door becomes what I call the dreaded door. I'm going to have to knock on that door. I'm going to have to walk through that door and speak to people on the other end and be involved in a scenario that I do not know what's on the other side of that door. What am I going to say to them? What if I sound stupid? What if I look wrong? What if I act wrong? What if they don't like me? What if they're angry that I'm even there, angry that I bothered them? Each one of those fears require you to believe that you're going to make a mistake, require you to believe that you won't know what to say, require you to believe that they're going to be upset that you're there to interact with them. Remember the faith versus fear dynamic. If you choose to be afraid of a scenario, it's because you're choosing to believe in a negative outcome that hasn't taken place yet. You can choose to have faith in a positive outcome that hasn't taken place yet, just as easily. Have faith in yourself. Decide ahead of time that you are worthy of whatever scenario presents itself on the other side of the door. Have that faith. I believe in you. You should believe in you. Know that whatever is presented to you on the other side of the door is something that you can handle. If it's an angry person on the other side of the door, know that you can handle it. Know that you have the tools at your disposal to be able to calm them down, de-escalate the situation, reassure them that you're not something for them to be angry at. What if it's a sad person on the other side of the door? You could be thankful that you have the opportunity to be involved in that person coming back from that sadness and being brought back to a place of joy. That's up to you. Whatever's on the other side of the door, you can utilize to your own benefit. I walked into a business, a cold contact, walked in, and there was a suit of armor in the corner. I didn't know any of these people, they're complete strangers, but all I did was make a joke about how impressive it is to see a full suit of armor standing in the corner of a business. That one statement, it then caused an interaction, a full conversation with the person at the front desk about that. And then I was able to develop a powerful rapport interaction, and that relationship, that friendship lasts till this day. So take faith in yourself in knowing that whatever's on the other side of the door, number one, you can handle it, and number two, you can use it as part of that interaction. Where does fear come from? When you look at the dreaded door and you say, I don't know if I've got what it takes to be on the other side of that door and succeed. That comes from your inner identity. Some people call it your paradigm, some people call it self-image, some people call it your subconscious. I call it your inner identity. It is the you that you are, whether you know it or not. Your inner identity controls you constantly. It runs you. And it's because whether you know it or not, that is who you are. The problem is you didn't get the first crack at setting who you are. It's a feedback loop. Think about the cruise control on your car. It's set at a certain speed, and if it tries to go too fast, it'll bring it down. And if the car tries to go too slow, it'll bring it back up. No matter what you do, as long as that cruise control is on, if you floor it, it'll still bring it back down. Now, the thing is, that's the set point for your level of success, is where that cruise control is set at. But you didn't set it. When you were a kid, your parents drove the car. Your parents set the cruise control. Your parents, your friends, your church, your school teachers, they set the speed at which you're allowed to chase after success. But you're an adult now. You drive your car. When you go from home to work, if you set the cruise control, you decide what speed it's at, right? So in your life, for your inner identity, you get to set the cruise control speed now. You have to recognize it to be able to do it. You can kind of think of it like bumper bowling. When you're a kid, your parents take you bowling, they set the bumpers up because they believe that the bumpers keeping your bowling ball from going too far left or too far right, that's going to give you the greatest chance of success. But your parents have no idea if going way off to the right over there is where your greatest success is going to lie. So bumper bowling, once you grow up, that's not going to be healthy for you. You have to decide who you're going to be and how fast you get to chase after success and what direction you get to go to chase after that success. Don't let other people, especially people who are that close to you, determine who you're going to be. The reason is, it's not that they don't have your best interests at heart. It's that they've decided who you are, and they'll be glad to remind you. But they're not the ones who get to decide who you are. You do. And now that you're an adult, you have to take control of that and then take responsibility for who that person is on the other side of that. Now, so what? What does that have to do with anything? So what? Because that inner identity is the lens through which you view each new situation. It's the frame that you're walking around with in front of you. It colors and alters every situation that you look at. If someone has been telling you your whole life, well, you're pretty shy, you're not good in front of people, then when you look at that dreaded door, you're going to be terrified of that door. But if somebody your whole life has always told you how funny and charming you are, you're great with people, then when you look at that door, you don't see the dreaded door. That dreaded door has been completely reframed for you. You look at that door, and instead of seeing who's over there, what are they going to think of me, what am I going to say, instead of that, you see an opportunity on the other side. Because there's people to serve on the other side of that door. There might be people in need. There's potential business and networking contacts. There's potential friends on the other side of that door. There's people on the other side of that door that need what you have, and you very well might need to hear what they have to say. And all you did was reframe the way you look at that very same door. You got to remember, the people on the other side of the door, they're probably nervous too. You're a stranger. You walk into a business, the people in there, they're going about their day, they're conducting their business. You're a stranger. I don't know if anybody's got a medical background, they understand that inside the brain there's a ring of neurons called the amygdala. The amygdala all day long is calculating, everywhere you see, it's calculating friend or foe, fight or flight. Friend or foe, fight or flight. There's a theory that when people leave a combat situation, they have PTSD. It's because of the fact that amygdala has been calculating that so fast, so often, that it's constantly going now. It doesn't know how to relax. It's constantly calculating friend or foe, fight or flight. So if you reframe, when you walk through the dreaded door, it's not that you're nervous. It's not that you're wondering what they're going to do. When you walk in, reframe it and say, okay, they're nervous. They're now calculating, are you friend or foe? And you have the opportunity to demonstrate to them that you're a friend, that you mean them well, that you're here to help, that you just want to assist them. If you reframe it that way, you know that you don't have anything to be afraid of. Remember the Superpower 3-step from the previous course, from Superpower of Hello. One smile, one joke, one question. You get in there with that big 1,000-watt smile, you light up the room with your face, you crack a joke and break their OODA loop, so now they're out of their OODA. Now they're not in their amygdala, is not calculating. And then you ask them a question about themselves. Be interested, don't be interesting. You get them talking about their opinion and their perspective after making them chuckle or laugh a little bit. You've got a friend that day. You've made a perfect first impression, and you've done something very powerful to their perspective on when people come in the door. So now we have to re-examine our C-type goals. Re-examine them with that new frame, because you've got that frame before, which was fearful. That frame before that was programmed by your parents, by your friends, by your school teachers. But now we've got a new frame, and we have to re-examine our C-type goals. We thought of them as goals that demand growth, that cause discomfort, that require action. But if we reframe them, they don't demand growth, they present an opportunity for growth. They don't cause discomfort, they cause progress. They don't require action, they inspire action. And that leads to monumental accomplishments. Now we've reframed your C-type goals into something that's not fearful, it's something that you have faith that you can accomplish. So what's your responsibility in all this? Your responsibility is to be prepared for the day when your preparation meets that opportunity. Bruce Lee always taught about the fact that preparation and opportunity are two things that you always have to keep in mind as you're training. When you're training, whatever you're training for, whether it be martial arts, whether it be acting, whether it be music, anything, your training is your preparation. But preparation by itself, it leads nowhere. Your preparation is always a part of something that's leading towards opportunity. The day when your preparation meets the opportunity to utilize it. And so you have to be seeking out that education, that learning of those skills that you will want to have and need to have to perform at a high level when opportunity comes. Whatever form it will present for you, whatever it is that you're chasing after, whatever your C-type goal is. And then you need to be looking after finding those experiences to sharpen the skills so that when that opportunity comes, you can perform at that high level, even in the thick of that opportunity. As Don Raybon calls it, in 4-4 time. If you're able to perform at a high level in 4-4 time as it's happening, that's when you've had your preparation meet that opportunity. Then it's also your job to seek out the opportunities. Once you get into that opportunity, let's follow along with another one of Bruce Lee's teachings and talk about how you have to be like water in that opportunity. Bruce Lee said that when you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. But it's still water. You can still be you, and you can still fit into any one of 1,000 different situations that are opportunities for you to succeed at accomplishing a C-type goal. When I was a police officer, I was presented with lots of different scenarios, whether I'm interacting with children, whether I'm interacting with adults, whether I'm interacting with criminals, whether I'm interacting with victims. In some of these pictures, I'm interacting with a World War II veteran. I'm interacting with small children. That photo on the top right on your screen there, that young man, he was blind, and it was at a fair type of a scenario where there was a lot going on, a lot of noise, and he was frightened. He asked me if he could touch my badge so that he'd know I was a police officer, and then he gave me a big hug. Whether I'm consoling a small child who's scared, or whether I'm educating a victim on what resources are available to them, or if I'm interviewing a suspect about what may or may not have happened, those are different scenarios that require a different type of me, but they still required me. I also have a family. I also was in the military. A lot of different scenarios where I'm still me, but I have to be prepared to alter the way that I behave in order to succeed in each of those scenarios. Now, the person you see on your screen there is a very different person than you see there, but they're both the same person, and both of them are prepared to succeed no matter what is presented to them. So prepare for the day when your preparation meets opportunity and be like water.